Hey Nelson, have you
Um,
bought your tickets for SARECon yet?
you mean Sarachella, the Coachella of real estate conferences? Oh, you betcha. Yeah, those I heard those tickets sold out day one, and they had to expand and get another 200 tickets that are now also for sale. Exclusive link below.
What are the dates of SARECon and where is it going to be?
I heard from a friend it was going to be July 29th through 31st, 2022, and it's going to be at the Hilton in Long Beach. So that's right, Hilton. No more Holiday Inn. It's
Moving on up. This is episode 1 of the Subtle Asian Real Estate Ladies podcast hosted by Tiffany Lee and Anita Wong. I'm Tiffany, but my co-host Anita is busy getting married this week, so filling in is Subtle Asian Real Estate founder slash zaddy slash honorary lady Nelson Lin. All right, so Nelson is actually our guest today, our interview for episode 1, and he's the founder. But what a lot of people don't know about Nelson is before he was SARE Zaddy, he was Nelson the comedian. Comedian, no comedian. So how did your parents react to you doing the comedy stuff?
Oh, they didn't really know. They're just like, oh, it's a fun hobby. It's good. It's public speaking. Like
Right.
that's what
That's
yeah.
kind of how you have to sell it to them early on. You're just like, yeah, it's a hobby. I don't take it that serious. Like you almost
It,
have to play down what you really
yeah.
want.
It's professional development. That's
Do you remember some of your favorite jokes from back then? Was it just kind of like hacky 18-year-old stuff, or was it like Nelson digging deep into his soul and
yeah, for a long time I was telling really hacky jokes because I lived in a small town and no one else was doing anything. And so if you even tried doing comedy, everyone's like, oh, you're that kid that did like stand up or comedy. And so for a long time, I was just telling dumb dad jokes, I think, and hacky accent stuff, just because like that's what you do when you start off, right? No one tells you how you're supposed to do it, and then you just see people on stage. And the thing is, the people who are really good on stage, they just look like they're natural. Like everyone thinks they can do, what a good comic can do. That's the whole point of it. And then when you go up, you're like, ah, this is a lot more anxiety inducing. And then so you just bomb for a few years, and then after that, you're like, it can't get worse than this, and then it does, and then you really find your bottom point, and then for the next few years, it's only like up and up, right? So like
hmm,
that I think is a core lesson you can learn if you're ever trying to get into business is start doing stand-up comedy because um, that rejection is really good for you, and you learn how to like talk on the fly and just make up words in your mouth.
fast forward, how did you transition from comedy to real estate? Because you had a real job too in between, a W-2 job in between that, all of that, right?
So I had a big boy job, um, and then I was in Chicago, and then I think I was miserable kind of first off, I'm a terrible employee, right? That definitely helped along. I was like, I'm never gonna get promoted to like VP. So, there's that aspect to it. But I'd actually gone to school in New York for a while, 90% to do stand up, 10% so my parents didn't disown me for going to New York to do stand up. And then the first job that I got though was actually in Chicago. So that's why I moved to Chicago in the first place. And it was also the first city I'd ever lived in because I've always been coastal elite, where I was like, oh, the real estate makes sense. It's cheap enough, cash flows. And so I started putting money into different projects because it made sense. Um,
So
yeah.
what made
So
you decide to take the jump? Because I know a lot of our listeners are super newbies, and I feel like a lot of people have paralysis by analysis. And I
yeah.
think a lot of the SEER members are just lurkers, or just a lot of the posts that I read are just like, I've been thinking about it, but I don't know if I want to do it. So what was that turning point for you where you're like, I'm gonna pull the trigger and do this flip? Or was the flip the first thing, or was it the BRR thing that was the flip thing? The first thing.
So my first thing was actually a quadplex, but this was my
Okay.
first flip.
Mm-hmm.
So I first rental actually renovated all the units myself one at a time. And so obviously I hired out some of the harder stuff, right? Like flooring. But they that gave me the confidence to think I could do another flip. And then, the problem was I think we still got the renovations done correctly. We just didn't set the price correctly for what the market was at. And then we set it too high. We stalled on the market because I thought, this agent knows what they're talking about, and we ate the cost on that. So if I had gotten the money back, I could have made a lot more just investing in the rental instead of trying to do this flip, basically. And so that's what bummed me out the most, is the opportunity cost lost. That being said, losing money is never fun. And the thing is, how much money did I actually lose? I got saved by a hot market, right? So worst case scenario, I might have lost money, but I probably wouldn't have lost by much, right? I would have refinanced out and just gotten a rental, and would have cash flowed as a rental too if I had kept it as a rental, right? So taking all these into consideration, it's like not that big of a risk, especially when you consider what is your downside, right? You lose 20, 30 grand, right? That sucks. But if you work in tech, that's 3 months of earnings that you're going to make back easily. And so if you ever start, what is your downside risk versus the opportunity to do everything you could want in your life?
So when you made your first leap, was that in a partnership? Did you have friends that were like-minded that wanted to do it together with you, or did you just go in super cold solo by yourself?
I mean, I super cold soloed the 4 unit technically,
Okay.
but I had a mentor help me too with I had a mentor. So that was super helpful, but I was very thoughtful about the mentor part. He was actually the agent who helped me buy the house. He's not a great agent.
Yo, shout out. No, I'm kidding.
Shout out to RJ De Leon. You're a terrible agent, but he's a great contractor. And so, you know, he's like crushing it when it comes to development and rehabs and all this other stuff. And so, like, for me, that was the one skill set that I didn't have. I was like, I can find my own deals, I can run my own numbers. I don't need an agent to do that for me. But I have no idea how to rehab, you know, certain things that are crazy. So I kind of picked him up as a mentor by accident, because I was like constantly texting him after having him help me close on the property. I was just like, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? I've probably swapped out a toilet like 3 times because I screwed up so many times with it. But what that taught me was, this is why you pay a plumber $200 an hour, because I don't want to do this again myself, right?
So when you first started Settle Asian Real Estate on Facebook, where were you networking with all these people that this group was able to grow so organically?
I made it as a meme group because that's what all the other subtle groups were. But it pivoted pretty quickly because 50% of the posts were just like, how do I get started on this? And so I figured, all right, where there's a will, there's a way. And so it kind of pivoted towards more of a group dedicated towards helping other people. But also we still participate in memes because that's the fun part of it, right? We're trying to make it more accessible. And if you want something stuffy, like, you can go sign up for a $10,000 a year like mentorship program. Like the Facebook group is more meant for people who want to learn, but without a sale at the end of it, I guess.
Yeah, it's open source, but not open source. You have it's open source, but you have to be in with the culture.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
it's kind of gatekeeping. We've just isolated a lot of people.
Yeah, no, we're chill. Unless you're not, then you're not allowed in here. Like, that's
true. There's many honorary Asians in the group. So just to be clear, you don't have to be like ethnically Asian to join the group. You just have to fuck with Asian people.
that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. You always have that one random like white or black kid in an all Asian group or thing. They're just like that one random kid is like, I'm really into anime. And these are my only anime.
Yeah, he's like the kid who Naruto runs down the hallway. You're like, all right, that's the kid who would join this group. You know,
yeah, he would be also, in SARE.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's cool now to like anime. So there's a lot of people who are open and welcome to join however they want.
But yeah, you also have a lot of great educational sessions too that you've set up on and organized from your network of friends. I know your friend Vincent did the commercial presentation a few weeks ago. He's going to be on the pod. Shout out to Vincent. Yeah, it's a Vince. Sorry, my bad. We still getting to know each other. We just talking. He's Vincent.
Yeah, we're just talking, you know, nothing for real yet.
Yeah, we're just talking. It's like he's not wrote back. He left me on red for like 5 days.
Roasted already. Wow.
Yeah, personal best or personal worst.
You can't See, this is why you can't triple text somebody. You got to send one text as a block, but then like wait it out. Or if you're gonna send a bunch of texts, make sure they're like one word each. So it's like you're being funny on purpose.
Oh shoot. Have you met women through real estate that you've dated? Have you like dated anyone through like SARECon meetups?
uh, Gentlemen don't kiss and tell, and neither do I. Is the first.
So that's a yes.
Yeah. I am dating someone now though. So
shout out, no shout out. He's like,
shout out to her.
he's like no name.
Yeah, shout out to No Name. She's a teacher, so she's not involved in real estate at all. But yeah.
But did you meet her through real estate, or was it just through other? Was it through?
No, it was through friends. It's this crazy thing where I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Instead of going online swiping, you like meet somebody through someone you already know, and then you date them. And here's the crazy part: because there's a preliminary relationship of this mutual friend, you can't screw the other person over by just ghosting them. So, you know, you really have to make it work.
There you go. Was it a real estate friend, or was it a your tech college friend? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. Yeah. So it's always good to have an intermediary, right? I see a lot of common themes arising here where this business is really based on trust, right? And it also goes back to dating. I would even venture to say that when you look for real estate partners, it's almost as important as, if even not even more important than looking for a romantic partner or get long term, right? You have to trust this person and all the other guys. Would you get it? Who are you getting into bed with in business?
Well, the thing is, yeah, you think about it, a lease is 30 years, but a marriage doesn't have to last that long, you know? So I think that's so you're really committing when it comes to a partnership a lot of the times, you know. The average length of a marriage is 8.2 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I have loans that last longer than that, you know. So I'm gonna say it now. Partnerships are harder. I think
business partnerships are harder. What's it? Bros, not bros before hoes. I'm just trying to figure out a funny line right now. I can't get to it.
Yeah.
Biz before jizz. Oh man, I'm editing that out. All right, well, this concludes episode 1 of Settle Asian Real Estate Ladies Podcast with Nelson Lin. Our hope for the SARE Ladies Podcast is to grow a supportive, fun, and collaborative community nourished by frank conversations around authentic Asian American and Pacific Islander experiences. Until next time, bye-bye, La. That's the sign off.
Bye-bye, La.
Bye-bye, La.